Recording now. I hope all is well with you guys, and I hope that you have you had a blessed weekend. I know times are a little bit challenging. I'm sure you're adjusting to it in your own way. Let's close that and go here. Now, here's what we're going to do today, okay? Several of you did actually turn in on time your claims. There are a number of you who did not. For today's class, what we're going to do, my audio is low. I don't know what to do about that. Can you hear me any better yet? Yeah, see, Jacob, you need to turn up your volume, man. I don't know what else to do. My volume's full blast here. My mic settings are good, and I'm close to the screen. So, yeah, let's move forward. We have a few more participants in now, so let's get to rolling. Many of you have already turned in your claims, which you were supposed to before we began this class. I got some emails wondering if I could look at their claims for them, and I'd like to briefly do that. Today, what I'm going to do is go over some of those claims for people who have concerns, and I'm not going to do that on screen. That way that you don't have to share your video. That takes up a lot of time. Plus, it kind of puts it out there for the rest of the class to see, but I'll have it pulled up on my computer here, second computer, and I'll be looking at it, and you can see your claims wherever they are and be aware of them, have them pulled up in a side screen or something, and then I'll kind of give you some suggestions on that if you have questions. Also, we need to transition into our next assignment, which is, of course, the rough draft for the manuscript. First off, however, what's your word count per minute? Now, I'm just going to randomly call on people. Hannah, we had some trouble with yours last time, so I'm going to start with you today. Hannah, what's your word count? $150. Okay. 150 per minute. Wow. Does that put you what at 1200-ish for the 8-minute time limit? Is that correct? So you actually have a lot of, thanks, Mr. Math. I appreciate that, Eli. You have a lot of words to kind of sort of play around with. So you'll be able to comfortably support your claims if you're at that rate. Thank you, ma'am. Bryant, what is your word count per minute?
Yeah, roughly 150 to 160.
So you're in that same, you speak as fast as Hannah?
Yes.
While reading? Okay, so you also have probably sufficient amount of words to actually cover everything. Will, what's your word count per minute? Will Wayne?
Mine was the same as Hannah's and them. It was roughly 150, 160.
Gotcha. Mr. Meals, what's yours? I can't unmute yours. You need to give me permission to do so. Thank you.
214.
Wait, for 1 minute? That's what you were doing in 1 minute's time? Hello? Or was that for the 2 minutes recording? Hello? Mr. Mills, are you there? Well, that's problematic. Grace, what's your word count? Grace, what's your word count?
174.
Good Lord, y'all some fast speakers. 161. Thank you, Mr. Mills. Guy, how about yours?
Timed it 3 times, anywhere between 195 and 214.
195 and 214. Good Lord, y'all rolling. Will Verdong.
149.
Amir. Amir. 143. Gotcha. Okay, so you guys kind of know where you are now, hopefully. Do me a favor and in the chat, just everybody pop theirs up there if you haven't already. If you have already, you're good. So everybody put that up there. So I can have a little record of that, please. Okay, for those of you who are 130 or less, it will be actually more challenging on you to get in everything that you need to get. You'll have to be much more discerning on your choice of wording, let's say, than those who actually get more words in. Let's see, continue this. Jay, ain't no way, man. Jay saying he's spitting it like, I don't know, who's a fast one. 435 words a minute, man. You could have a new career if you're hitting that. Good Lord. Okay. What I need you to do is raise your hand if you have questions about your claims, and I'm going to pull them up on my other computer really quickly, please. On the claims that you just turned in. Now I got some emails about those, so I know. So just hit the raise your hand button. All right, Mr. Mills, I'm going to start with you. Okay, finally found it. Mr. Mills. Is yours unmuted, Bubba? No? Okay, here we go. Remind me of your solution.
Leveraging prescription drug monitoring programs.
Okay, and that was in relation to the
Opioid overdose.
Okay. Monitoring prescription drug programs.
Yes, leveraging them.
And what do you mean by leveraging?
Like hold on one second.
Okay.
Like using them to like maximize the advantage.
Did you really just look that up in a dictionary, bro?
Yeah.
Sorry, you just gave me the definition for the leverage, rather than tell me.
I don't
I
know,
need to
the
know what
solution
you
that
mean.
came up with.
Do you mean streamlining them, making them more efficient, overseeing
Like
them?
making them more efficient. That way, that like physicians and doctors can have like a better way to like get people aware of the system or something like that. I don't really know. To
So
help like reduce the rates of abuse.
your claims are prescribed drug monitoring will help to improve prescribing practices. I need the how on that. Leveraging prescription drug programs gives clinicians a more complete picture of their patient's medical history. That is a claim if by this point you have already framed exactly what you mean by leveraging prescription drugs. Leveraging prescription drug programs. You're going to have to kind of give a picture of what that looks like, okay?
Okay.
And what you mean by that, because you can't refer to a shadow solution and never actually define that solution. What does it mean? Does it mean a universal national database? Does it mean all pharmacists have to use one particular coding methodology? I don't know. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm not in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm just bleh here, okay? But you need to define what you mean by that, what it looks like. That way, when you say leveraging prescription drug programs give clinicians a more complete picture of their patient's medical history, that would be a legitimate claim. You could show how it did that. These programs, that's plural. So leveraging prescription drug programs is a plural. I mean, it's a multitude of different things, evidently. Help reduce doctor shopping, okay? So again, I'm thinking universal database and a common form of centralized prescribing. That has an oversight somehow is what I have in mind there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you listed your conclusion as your third claim. Okay, so technically, your first claim is kind of a sort of a how it would be a leveraging program, and you would need to develop that in the framing of your solution. And leveraging prescription drug programs, the second and third one there are claims if you have effectively described that solution. And the last one looks to be a form of a conclusion. You're going to have to come up with at least probably one more claim.
Okay.
My suggestion to you is define your solution more clearly. And then those two claims will work well. And the other two we can kind of fit in other places. Got it? Does that address the issue?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Not a problem. Next up. I did not block her. That's unfortunate. Let me do the manage participants thing. See if I can find her name on here. No, and there's no request. All right. Well, I can't fix that. I don't have an invitation or a request to enter the meeting. So hopefully she will be able to log in. Let me find someone else's hand who is up because I saw that there were a few hands up. Okay. Those notifications are now gone. Jacob, you got your hand up. Let's take a look at yours. Remind me again of your solution.
My solution was the implementation and restoration of floodplains.
Didn't we glance at yours the other day?
Yeah, but only briefly, and you just like looked at a couple of the claims, but I just wanted to make sure that like all 4 of mine that I decided to use were solid.
Dams and other men-made are hurting us more than they're helping. So you're talking, all right. Because if you're going to restore floodplains, that would mean removing dams. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm more saying that floodplains is a better solution than dams or other.
Are you referring
man-made-
to man-made levees?
Yeah,
Trying
levies and yeah.
But are you going to address that whole compromise between man and nature there, the urbanization aspect, the reason that levees are built?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So for the cases which references are prevented, that floodplains would have helped in certain specific situations. Am I understanding number 2? Like you're going to list specific flood
Yeah.
crisis
Basically.
moments and how this would have actually addressed it. 3, economically feasible. If you're actually going to use that as a claim, I would list it as a counterclaim first. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
The criticism that it would be too expensive is unjust. I kind of did that the other day with another student, and I don't remember who it was, but I think
All right.
better here is a counterclaim and then prove that counterclaim wrong and use that as a piece of evidence. The end results would end not only with reduction of urban flooding. It sounds like you give me a solution for number 4.
Well, ignore the
No,
first.
never mind. I got you. It's the second half of the wording there, that it provides other benefits as well, right? Yeah. Change them. Use that last portion of number 4. Change the other to a counterclaim, and I think you're good. Who else has a question about the claims that they submitted? So everybody else is just good. Let me take a look. Mr. Eli, let's take a look, sir. You can unmute yourself. Remind me of your solution.
Bacteriophages. Yeah. It's viruses basically that can kill bacteria.
Yeah, I remember now. I don't know why I wouldn't, right? We've discussed it. Let me get it pulled up. Hang on just a minute. Okay, I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
Didn't we also look at yours the other day?
We did, but I kind of reorganized how my claims were presented, I guess.
Compared to, so you kind of built in a counterclaim for number 1?
Well, yeah, it's kind of a counterclaim, but I kind of used it more as an intermediate conclusion. And I was just wondering if that was okay.
You'll have intermediate conclusions. Just make sure that the claims upon which the subclaims upon which the intermediate conclusion is based are evidence-based. Therefore, it would be evidence-based and serve as an effective claim for the eventual conclusion.
Okay, so I did that.
Claim 2. I don't know that I'd continually compare it to antibiotics unless that's the form you're taking.
It's the way I had framed it in my introduction. It was like alternatives to antibiotics, and specifically point out bacteriophages. So.
Okay, gotcha. So essentially,
it's kind of more like a replacement of antibiotics or a supplementation of antibiotics or something.
It's more effective. It has more extensive capabilities than antibiotics. Safer than antibiotics, and they're cost effective. Yeah, man, you're solid.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Will Wayne, you're up.
I just wanted to look over mine because we looked over mine before on, I think, Tuesday, and I had formed claims on framing the issue instead. So I just wanted to make sure they were good now.
Okay. Remind me of your solution.
Implementing teaching about mental illness in education and not portraying mental illnesses poorly in the media.
Okay, now that's two separate solutions.
Then I guess overall it'd just be representing mental illness accurately.
Is there anyone else in your group that's doing the whole removing the stigma?
I do not think so.
Because if there's not, then that needs to be your solution if you're using both education
The
and
solution, my solution is destroying mental illness stigma, but I thought you were asking how I would do that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
All right. Representing mental illness poorly in media increases mental illness stigma. So you're going to have examples of where that's done and say you need to rephrase that to say stop representing mental illness poorly in mass media, and then give examples of music or movies, television shows that have done that. Mental illness is illness. That's another claim for number 2, I think is a better way of saying that. Number 3, educating about mental illness decreases mental illness stigma. I think that would be a legitimate claim. Now, you're going to have to find an underlying sub-crisis here besides just framing, which obviously you're going to frame mental illness, crisis, suicide, whatever you're doing there, and how you're approaching it. But I would suggest that you use kind of a transitionary framing of a sub-crisis. And you make that sub-crisis some statistical data, some type of evidence that shows the amount of people who would seek mental illness treatment if it wouldn't affect their job, if it wouldn't affect their basic rights legally, if it didn't pose some kind of threat to family. You understand what I mean by that?
I found a statistic of the percent of people that don't seek treatment because of stigma. So would that work?
Oh,
that
yeah.
work? Okay.
That would be perfect, and that would transition into your solution.
That's what I plan to do.
Like mental illness treatment is this and that, but the real reason, or what I view the real reason, as people just don't get mental illness treatment because of da 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 da. All right, but yeah, change the claims in that way. Add that little statistic in between your big framing and introducing your concept, and I think you're good. Got it?
Alrighty. Thank you.
Who else? Santana, are you good?
I don't think I am.
Well, I didn't have your hand up, dear.
Yet.
Let's take a look. What's
Okay.
your solution to reducing greenhouse gases?
Incentivizing ownership of electric cars.
In your thing, you say cap and trade.
Did I submit the wrong one?
I think you may have.
Oh, second.
Hey, get your other one done and get it submitted for me, if you don't mind.
Oh, I forgot to change the solution. That was my first one, but it's supposed to be. Oh my goodness.
Do your claims match your real solution?
Yes, sir, they do. I just forgot to change that.
So say it again now for me.
Incentivizing ownership of electric cars.
Okay. Now, how do I say this? Your 3 claims that you have listed all seem to be in framing either the problem or describing the solution rather than state your solution again.
It's incentivizing ownership of electric cars.
Okay. Nowhere do you actually address the incentivizing part.
Okay.
You just talk about electric cars. So if you're going to stick with these 3 claims, like for instance, if your solution was transition to electric cars.
Okay. Should I change it to that?
Yeah,
Mm,
because you have nothing in here about incentivization.
Okay.
There's nothing in here about tax breaks. There's nothing in here about government grants. There's nothing in here about tax breaks for corporations who promote. There's none of that in there as far as incentivizing.
Okay.
All you have is why electric cars are better. And if that's all you have at this point in April, we need to kind of stick with it because we can just slightly shift your solution to say, hey, everybody should get electric cars. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Who else? Okay, so I see no other names. We are going to meet on Wednesday. I want to kind of get a progress check based on the assignment I'm about to give you. Also, there's a large number of people who did not turn in this particular assignment. That needs to be done. We're still moving forward with the presentation. So let me update you on that. Your next assignment obviously will be doing an actual rough draft of your transcript and a rough draft PowerPoint that would accompany it. That needs to be fully done. And I envision that being done. You need some time on that to make it so that it's real, to get it where it needs to be. And I would give you a couple of weeks on that in class, most likely, had we been in class. So I'm thinking since you're at home and all, next Wednesday should not be an issue, especially since I'll be available for one-on-one questions Friday on another Zoom. And we're going to meet briefly on Wednesday as well. I think that next Wednesday is a fair date for that. So that makes it the what? What's today's date? So first, 8th, 15th, 15th. I think that's the 15th. Is that correct? All right. So that Wednesday, well, I'm the only one in my room. Why am I covering up? Anyway, next Wednesday is when that's due. That's a rough draft, a literal script of what it is you're going to say, and the PowerPoint. I'll probably actually list it in Canvas as 2 separate assignments, so you don't have to figure out how you're going to upload both if you've never done that before. So I'll just do a transcript assignment and a PowerPoint assignment, but both will be due 1 week from Wednesday. That's the 15th. So on Wednesday, I'll do a spot check on that. Now, how we're moving forward. We will have to provide artifacts to Cambridge to justify your scores, okay? The only artifacts in Global Perspectives that would be acceptable, obviously, are paper 2 and the paper 3 presentation. So other classes were kind of having to cobble together some justifications for submitted scores, etc. With Global Perspectives, it's pretty straightforward. Our artifact should be what it is you would normally do. Now, we do not know yet what form that reporting is going to take. We do not know yet what percentage of student files they will request. We don't know any of that. What we do know is that they are going to audit artifacts, okay? Meaning they're going to request some artifacts. And for Global Perspectives, that means we have to do the presentations, all right? Besides that, that's what this class is centered around. You've worked very hard and a long time on this, working with your groups, meeting outside of class. You deserve that, to be able to put it together into a presentation. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move forward as normal, except instead of some end date scheduled plan where we send out invitations to the family and all that, I'm going to expect you to actually do the presentation in your home or somewhere. You need to be thinking about where you want to do that. I'm going to have to figure out how we're going to show both the PowerPoint and your video of you speaking. Because see, we can't edit it. It has to be one file. Perhaps maybe we can just have you alternate between share screen and not. and I'll have you pulled up on the video, actually recording your image recording, and you will alternate between uploading and sharing your video and not sharing your video, so that we can get pictures of your PowerPoint. Or we'll just go with a video of you presenting and you refer to your PowerPoint, and then we just submit the PowerPoint as an artifact for them to be able to see. Does everybody follow that logic? Okay. Long to short of it, you're still presenting. You're still presenting. So those of you, Jacob, Hannah, Bryant, those of you who have members of your group who have unplugged for the year, and assume that it's all done and over with, we need to get those members on board, and let them know that they still have to present. I think y'all understand what I mean by that. And that might be the situation for a couple of other groups that I'm have in mind here. Frank, there might be a situation in your group as well. So make sure that your cohorts understand that this is still we are still doing the presentation. I don't know that if you've had the opportunity to watch any of the videos on YouTube, on the Social Studies YouTube channel, but that is available to you. I'll be uploading this one as well. That's all I have for you today. Please understand that we're going to be meeting on Wednesday as well, and that now your rough draft is due. If you have further questions, I need to get off and prepare for U.S. History's class. If you have further questions, please email them to me, and I will get with you as soon as I possibly can. Guys, stay safe, stay sane, and get your work done. I love and pray for y'all, and y'all be safe. All right? Peace.